Howdy folks. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm not home. There's a fan that this thing never shuts off, so there's going to be that background noise. No, I'm not at home. My wife she's a registered nurse, and she got a late notice yesterday that she had a patient she needed to go see, which is about a 2-hour drive from where we're at. So we're in Tulsa, patients in Oklahoma City, and today's Saturday, so I had about 30 minutes to gather up some things because wife wanted me to drive her over here. So at any rate, I'm in a hotel. Wife went to go see her patient, and so I decided, I don't think I ever done a video from a hotel or anything quite like that, so I thought maybe this would be the opportune time. So I grabbed some stuff real quick, and what I grabbed up was I got the shaving cream here from Gillette Pure. It's, as you can tell, what it's all about here. Usually you can find these at Walmart, Target for $5.99, somewhere in there. And so this is like really unprepared, so I didn't bring everything that I normally use, and I brought some different stuff. But at any rate, shaver of the day, using a Gillette Wilkinson sword. That's what the wrapper looks like. Still got, I think, 2 more blades in this particular pack right here. And got it in a Weishi. This is a PVD, I think is what they called it, something like that. Anyway, that's just the process that they use to apply the black coating or coloring to this particular Weishi. I think I've got 3 Weishis of different variety, I guess you might say. Pretty decent travel razor. In other words, you pick some of these up around 10 to 15 bucks, just depending on what model you're getting. But I'm going to give this a try today. I say give it a try. I've used it before. I don't have an issue with it at all. I did grab my alum block here, Crown King alum block, complete with rubber band, and I did not bring any witch hazel. But as it goes for the the Christmas cube from Phoenix Artists and Accoutrements, I didn't grab that one. But what I did grab was the tube version of the Clown Fruit. And yes, this one here is supposed to glow in the dark, but this is the stick version. I have a few different stick versions that I've been picking up just for cases like this where I'm traveling and still want to use some pre-shave soap. And it is in a twist up model, so that's, yeah, just awesome. I've got it whipped up here with a Frank shaving brush that was sent to me by Randy Wright over at Polar Shaving. And I've got this whipped up in my Parker container here. And there's what I got in, and it's fairly wet. It's not necessarily drippy, but it's wet. There's quite a bit in that knot there. I think the generation of this knot is a G4, I think that's what he was telling me. And for me, this knot works out great. I like it. I've got a few other synthetic brushes that are very similar to this knot and may even be the same kind of knot. Just, you know, different folks have that knot and put it in their brushes. And it seems to work well for me. I like it. There's one thing I can say about this though, is that if you're looking at killing off some soap or whatever, and if you want to use a brush like this, it does hold a lot of soap in there. So even though it may not look like it, there's quite a bit in there. Just want to throw that out there. So, oh yes, the rest of it, yeah. So, you know, just to keep, you know, as it goes for space saving type aftershave, I went ahead and collected up the Barbus. Thought this would be a good one to travel with. And if I need to, if I felt the need, it was handy just sitting out, so I went ahead and grabbed the aftershave balm, and I might use this off camera if I feel the need to use it because my skin's getting kind of dry, especially, it just seems, me and my dad, so I don't know if it's a, you know, genetic thing in between us, but right between the eyebrows there, it seems to get kind of dry. But anyway, I brought me some aftershave balm if I need it. Okay, I've already put a hot towel to the face this morning. I still have some sort of a routine here. And go ahead and get started with the pre-shave soap here. Never used this particular one here. I got started on the stick pre-shave soap a while back, and it was the ice version. In other words, it's mentholated, and I got some more of it because my tube was getting pretty low. So if you're not a big fan of the cube because you get the stuff all over your hands and and then it's slippery, and then you're trying to hang on to a razor, and maybe if that's a thing for you, they do have this stuff in tubes, and from time to time they do offer the flavors in the tube, so I've been trying to collect those up too as the time goes on. It's been kind of a fun morning. Like I say, when I found out what was going on, I had about 30 minutes to throw some things together. I had an appointment already scheduled to get the oil changed, and went ahead and had that done. But as soon as the oil change was done and over with, we were leaving. So I didn't have a tremendous amount of time to get things put together. But, that's life, right? It throws you a curve every once in a while. Not too sure about the lighting in here. I mean, I know what I see in the mirror, but how this records, it might be all right. It looks okay on my phone here. And I did go ahead and grab my mount, which is, kind of gotten used to this mount. Probably should have got more than one, but you know how time goes on with the how the suctions to the mirror, it has a tendency to start to go away. And it's always been an issue with me. The reason why I like using a video camera is because I don't want my phone to end up in a sink full of water. And this suction cup thing is, I think, starting to show its age. But anyway, we'll get it started here. This brush and lather is fairly wet, so it'll probably work with the Preshave soap and whipping it up. I don't think, could be wrong, I don't think that Oklahoma City water is much different than the water in Tulsa, in that it's probably on the hard side. And that's one thing you could probably give credit to Gillette on this particular shaving cream, is that no matter what the water is, it'll still whip up just fine, which it did. I mean, at least for the way I, guess you might say, create my lather. Oh yeah, and just to let you know, I'm in a Holiday Inn, and that's the shower back there. Yes, there's no door. There's no curtain. Nothing like that. You walk in, so in other words, you walk in and go back that direction to the shower, which is, pretty cool idea. You don't have, no door, no curtain, nothing like that you have to deal with in the way of cleaning. In other words, this is my kind of shower. It's like every man, that's one thing they would like, one less thing to clean, right? It's kind of surprising in there. In the amount of room that's in there, it doesn't look like there's much. But if the lady wanted to bring one of those chairs in the shower and set it in there and shave her legs or whatever the case is, there's plenty of room for it. Just when I first looked at it, I thought, man, that's got to be tiny. You know how some showers are. You hit your elbows on everything that's in there, on all the walls and the doors, and this one here is pretty roomy. Like I say, I've used this several times. Matter of fact, on my last move, I was using this razor with Williams mug soap, and tell you, it works just fine for me. For 10, 15 bucks for a twist open shaver, it's kind of hard to beat. And as it goes for the blade, like I say, this one here works pretty well. I wouldn't say might still be considered a little on the mild side, but it's on the upper end. It's not super mild by any means. Oh, and speaking of that sort of thing, I've been meaning to mention this. Two things actually came up yesterday when I was looking. Gumatorium has finally ran out of the Parker strops that were selling for 42 bucks. They don't have any more in stock. So if you're like me, just trying to get an extra one, you missed out. They don't have any more in stock. And the other thing that I was going to point out that I had noticed, it was a while back when I noticed, but I'm finally trying to remember to mention it, is that, and I'll try to shave with the old one, because I'm thinking about picking up the new one, is Focus a while back came out with what they call a Focus Dynamic. And what that is, it's a single edge shaver, takes half of a DE blade, and has a pivoting head, and it's all aluminum. And it is pretty mild. And that was one of the things that, I guess you might say, the biggest complaint was that the shaver was just too mild for a lot of people. But like I say, you know, for me, somebody just starting out, young, or somebody's got really sensitive skin, it's a pretty decent shaver to use, I mean, for that aspect. So, but if you're looking for something with a little bit more aggressiveness to it, they have a new one out. It's called the Evo, and also they changed the loading mechanism on how the blade is being held in there, and it's supposed to be more aggressive. So it is a razor that I'm looking at getting next. It's piqued my interest. And of course, it still has the pivoting head and all that cool stuff. But the, like I say, the mechanism to hold the blade in is very similar to the old one, except for now it's got two posts that it didn't have before. So when you go to slide that head on there, one of the openings for those two posts is going to be open at the end, so it can slide across. And looks like it holds the blade in without a problem. Now I didn't notice for sure, because if I remember right, I think the preferred DE blade, not necessarily by name, but as opposed to, is preferred to use a DE blade snapped in half as opposed to one that's already been pre-cut. I may have gotten that kind of twisted up, confused with the Focus Slim, their shavette. Now, I've never had a problem with a pre-cut blade. Matter of fact, that's what I've been using in both of them. But for some folks, I guess there might have been a bit of an issue. I did see a photo on Superior Shave. That's where I noticed where the Evo is at. That a photo of somebody that had loaded a half of a DE blade in a dynamic that was a little off center, let's say. And for me, you know, I have not had that issue, but I guess you might say I'm also kind of familiar with the quirks of older three-piece shavers and whatnot. In other words, getting things situated in there just so when you go to snug it up, that you don't have issues with it getting cattywampus on you and whatnot, and getting frustrated trying to keep the blade straight. So I kind of pay attention to that sort of thing, and it's just because I think my previous experience with other shavers, days gone by, but things have really changed a lot over the years, where those issues seem to be, I guess you might say, less of an issue nowadays. A lot of those sort of things finally got worked out on the manufacturing side, and what it would take to get those sort of things made where the tolerances are better. But I just throwing that out there in case maybe you kind of sort of like the dynamic, but just thought it was too mild. If you was unaware, the new one is out. And I'm not sure when I'm going to get it. It could be a month or two or something else, or it just depends on how patient I am, because I'm kind of interested in checking out not so much the blade loading mechanism as opposed to how much did they increase the aggressiveness in the shaver. In other words, it might be on the upper end of mild or the bottom end of medium aggressiveness. We'll see. I mean, the design, and to a degree, the idea, the thought behind it is pretty good, I think. Oh, and I should mention that if you're a fan of the Focus Slim, the aluminum version, Superior Shave has two different Focus Slims that have different handles. One is, I think, two different shades of horn, I think, that I think he's got on sale for right around 60 bucks, which is quite a bit cheaper than what they used to be selling for. Just thought I'd throw that out there if you're interested in that sort of thing. Now, normally I have a lot of this set up, this video and whatnot, in the way of information. I have it done on a computer. A lot of it set up before I do the video. Needless to say, I did not have time on this one, so I don't know how much of this information I'm going to be able to get on there doing it straight from my phone. Yeah, I typically don't do that. As you can kind of tell, I'm getting a little older, and I enjoy doing things on a big screen. These teeny tiny little mini screens, I do if I have to, but most of the time, yeah, I do it on a big screen. So in other words, technology, what am I using? The phone I'm using is a Motorola Edge, and so it's got a fairly decent sized screen. But when it comes to, that's what I video off of, but when it comes to much of anything else, I set it up. I got a Chrome box, an Asus Chrome box. Matter of fact, I just upgraded the memory in it to 16 gigabytes of memory, and I use a Chrome box for all that sort of editing and whatnot. So for me, hey, what can I say? It works quite well. I've got it hooked up to a 32-inch TV. So you kind of see what I'm talking about, the big screen. It's like, yeah, I enjoy viewing my emails and everything way big, so that way I'm not straining my eyes trying to read that itty bitty print or whatever happens to be going on. Yeah, it's all right there on the big screen. YouTube on the big screen. And I say 32 inches because I'm not sitting that far from it. So it's a pretty good size screen. I'm going to get started with the Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements Alum Block complete with rubber band this morning. I looked at the witch hazel when I grabbed this and decided, like, nope. Now, I do have another alum block, but it's already packed away in a different bag. And this was just easier to grab. And it's by Razor Rock, and it's something similar to this right here in that it'll come in a tube, and kind of almost like a deodorant. If you're looked around, like especially at like TJ Maxx, Marshalls, whatever, they'll have alum as a deodorant. And I also snagged one of those at Marshalls a while back. But those are good for travel also, but I've got it in my other kit that was not exactly easy to get to, so I just went ahead and grabbed this and ran. Kind of concerned about I need to get a container where I feel that if there's a little pressure applied to the container, that the top isn't going to pop off and witch hazel everywhere. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't bring it. I got just a little bit of steam right down here. Probably got my pressure off just a bit. I wouldn't consider, you might consider this, I don't think this is mild. I think this, if you're looking at twist open Gillette, the flare tip, I guess you might say the chrome tip, if you will, it probably fits in that category right there, maybe leaning up towards the red tip. It's definitely not the blue tip. It's not, to me, it's not that mild. Well, this blade did just fine, but I've never felt that it was that mild. I think it's either medium up towards the more aggressive, but still a very nice shaver. This is great for travel. Fantastic. And not only that, if you're concerned about transporting glass, this is plastic, so that just makes it fantastic. And if you haven't seen one of my other video, this cap, it's got, I don't know if it'll catch it in the light there. There is a post. You can kind of see inside here. There's a post right there in the middle. It goes right down inside that restrictor. So in other words, for me, I feel very comfortable using this for travel. So in other words, if things get turned upside down, I'm not concerned about it leaking out on me. Seems to seal up pretty nice. Oh, the scent is very much, I guess you might say, a barber shop. I'm one the same. I don't particularly pick, at least not today, I'm not picking up the, oh, what do you call it, a talc type smell, which I'm okay with. It's just not that version of a barbershop scent. No, my nose, at least not today, is not picking it up. Thursday, I got my COVID shot, my first one, and I know the rest of Thursday, yesterday, and today I feel a whole lot better. But in other words, I wasn't, how can you say, super sick or anything like that, just tired. And boy, talking about your arm being sore. Yeah, it was sore. I had a great shave. I don't know if I'm going to get this loaded up today before I head back to the house, or if it's going to wait till I get back to the house. We'll see how this works. Hope everybody's doing well. Stay healthy, stay safe, and hope this turned out all right with that fan blowing. Smooth shaves to you.